How do you find things to write about? Where do you find your material, your topics? Maybe it's for personal writing. You wanted to write something that you would submit to a publication. Or maybe you're just writing to an email list every week, or you have content at work and you're trying to come up with stories to include because we all know how important stories are these days. I'm here to show you how easy it can be to come up with these ideas every single day. Hey, everybody, I'm Ricky Heller from rickyheller.com. I'm a writer, an editor, and a book coach. And I created this prompt a day. It's a 30-day prompt a day challenge where I'm going to show you how easy it is for me to just pluck ideas from thin air based on typical things that happen to me during an average, boring day. So here we go. And at the end, I'm going to challenge you to write on this prompt and to submit it to me for free editing. I'll tell you more at the end of the video. Okay, so today's prompt is based on something that happened to me a few days ago. I met with a friend that I haven't seen in a while. And I would say that I've known this friend for a few years, but we're not super, super close. So we went out, we're having coffee, we're catching up, blah, blah, blah. And she hasn't seen me, as I said, in a while. Last time she saw me, my hair was a different color. And she said, I really like your hair. Where do you get your hair cut? That's such a nice style. Where did you get it done? Because I guess she was thinking she might go to the same salon. Well, I said, it's not my hair. It's a wig. I know. So this is not my hair. Long story. I was very ill in 2009, a long time ago now, with candida overgrowth. And I was on some heavy duty antifungal pills for a year, and half my hair fell out. And so I started wearing wigs because I was pretty young back then and it looked terrible. And so I started wearing wigs to make myself feel better about it. And then over time, some hair grew back, but not all my hair. And then some fell out again, and some grew back again. And so I just decided, what the heck, I'm just going to keep wearing wigs. And so this is actually kind of the hairstyle I used to have. So she didn't think much of it. And, women change their hair color all the time. But I thought it was quite an interesting little exchange because she was shocked, which was great because I guess that meant she thought this did look like real hair. And if it doesn't, what can I do? Whatever. But the point is, it got me thinking about how much the idea of our looks and women's vanity play into our everyday lives. So I'm someone who would never even consider plastic surgery or Botox because, as we know, Botox is a short form of botulism toxin, which is the most deadly toxin on the face of this planet. So if your dermatologist or plastic surgeon injects a wee bit too much, it's a deadly toxin in your body. So I wouldn't consider that. But I have no trouble with wigs because I feel like wigs help to improve my appearance. And it's always great to have perfect hair. I don't have to worry about styling my hair. I can just throw on the wig. And it's an accessory at this point where I can change my style anytime I want. So for me, that's my personal vanity point where I will wear wigs to try to make myself look better, but I might not do other things. For other women, I have friends who do use Botox or they do get plastic surgery. And so do so many women. And it's no longer something that we keep secret for the most part. You now see celebrities talking about their procedures and so on. So I thought that would be a really interesting topic to discuss. And we can make it as personal as we like, or we can make it as broad as we like. So the three areas where I generally share these prompts and talk about where you can use them is for a personal narrative, which is kind of like a miniature piece of a memoir where you're writing about something in your own life, for a piece of nonfiction that you would send out for publication to like a magazine or a newspaper, and for a piece of fiction like a short story. So if we're talking about personal narrative, in my case, I could talk about the anecdote I just told you and how I got into wearing wigs and why I wear wigs and how that has affected my life, if it has in any particular way. And that's the kind of thing you could write as well. If you have something like that, or if you ever had plastic surgery, or if you've had procedures that you did want to tell people, didn't want to tell people. I remember years ago, my dad's girlfriend had veneers on all of her teeth. And when you met her, I mean, she was an older lady because, my dad didn't start dating again until after my mom died. He was in his 70s. And you looked at her face and there was something that wasn't quite right because her teeth were just too white for somebody of that age, right? And then one day one fell off and she had to walk around for a few weeks without her veneer on and she was mortified. So for her, that was the one main thing she did to try to keep herself looking young slash good. For someone else, it might be something else. So for whatever it is for you, you might want to write about that. If that feels too vulnerable, you could always write a nonfiction article about the different ways that people use technology, surgery, modern drugs, whatever it is, to preserve our looks because we're such a youth-oriented society, right? So are there other things that we do because we want to look good? And that for so many people is really, really important. That's a great article. And you could look at why is it important as well, the psychology behind it. And then, of course, a short story. How can you play with that idea? Is there perhaps a relationship where someone finds out that the other person isn't who they say they are? Is it a piece of horror fiction where in fact it's a true mask, like an actual physical mask that someone's wearing and they don't look anything like the face the person sees? I'm playing with this here, the idea that maybe somebody puts on a mask that looks like a lost loved one and lures a person into a relationship. So I don't write horror and I don't write thrillers like that, but that I think would be a great starting point for that. So take the idea, run with it, and please do write something. If you write 1,000 words or less, I would invite you to submit it to me at ricky@rickyheller.com. And all the details will be in the caption below. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to choose one reader's piece of writing and I'm going to perform a full developmental edit on it. That means I'm going to go through it word by word, providing feedback, commentary, suggestions. There's going to be a column with commentary as well, and a complete separate document that we call an editor's letter, which is like a summary of the piece with suggestions and feedback as well. Why am I doing this? Because as a professional editor, I work with clients all the time who get stuck because they can't think of what to write about and they just stop. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to keep writing. I want you to make this a habit where you write something every day, even if it's not your main piece of writing, like if you're working on a novel or something like that, or a memoir. Even if it's not that, you have these prompts that can keep you writing, that can exercise those writing muscles and keep you going in such a way that you will be able to produce something that you can then either submit to me or someone else. So I hope those ideas spark some creativity for you and that you take it and submit it to me. Last thing I'll say is if you're looking for a place to do your writing, I have a wonderful group of writers who meet every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And sometimes it's a big group, sometimes it's a smaller group. We meet, we say hi, we sit there and do our own writing for about an hour in each other's company, although we are in silence. We soak up that creative energy. There's accountability, there's the sense of community. And then at the end, we say our goodbyes and look forward to meeting again the following week. So if you want a place where you can do your writing, I hope you will join us. I'm going to put the link to join in the caption below as well. I look forward to seeing you there. And if not, I look forward to seeing your writing. I can't wait to see what you do with this one today. Let me know what you think in the comments as always, and please submit your work. All right, everybody, have a great day. I will see you next time.